Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Carissa Conrad, Doctor of Physical Therapy and Therapeutic Pain Specialist, and I am the Vagus Nerve PT. I wanted to just give an update today about where I'm at in my recovery journey and answer some of the common questions that I usually get from people as I coach and talk in groups. And just to give you guys kind of a bit of a sense of what life is like at this point. So common questions that I usually get are whether or not I still take the medications, whether or not I still use the vagus nerve stimulation, and kind of what life is like now. So I thought I'd answer those questions. So first of all, do I still take the medication? So if you've been here before, if you've listened to some of my other, or watched some of my other videos, or listened to any of my my podcast interviews, you'll know that I took a couple of medications to help through my recovery. One was low-dose Naltrexone, and the other was a very low-dose SSRI medication. Lexapro was the one that I take. And so people often want to know whether or not I still continue to take those medications. And I have chosen to continue to take them at this point. The reason being that I still do have some symptoms. So I consider myself about 90% recovered. I started exercising again in January of this year, 2025, and was back to full exercise, all things in life, by about April of this year. So at this point, this is now beginning of November, I have, much of my symptoms under control, but I still have a little bit of brain fog, a little bit of that blurry vision. And those are kind of the main things that I still experience. So because of that, I've chosen to stay on the medications for the time being, knowing that, life is still stressful, etc. And I just need to take care of my nervous system and keep nourishing my nervous system. Now, that being said, not every person that I have coached or spoken with who has had long COVID or chronic fatigue has taken those medications, and you can still get better without them. So there's nothing that says they are a mandatory, this has to be done. It's all about finding what is going to nourish your nervous system best. And those were the things that really helped me, especially in the circumstance, as if you've heard before me say that my children were quite young when I was sick, and those medications really helped begin to balance my nervous system. So they're still a part of what I use now, and at some point my goal will be to wean off those medications. Do I still use the vagus nerve stimulation? Yes, I do. The vagus nerve stimulation, for me, I consider it kind of still part of my wellness routine, just like I would if I were meditating or doing breathing activities or what have you. Life is still stressful. My kids are almost 5 and 10, so I use the vagus nerve stimulation in part as just a regulation tool. And I also use it to assist me in making progress in terms of my emotional growth. So if you've heard me say this before, vagus nerve stimulation enhances neuroplasticity. So I use it both as part of my, just my day-to-day, like it helps keep my nervous system healthy, it helps keep me regulated. And then I also use it when I'm wanting to shift my perspective on things. And this kind of ties into, where is life now? So I am back to everything physically, right? Like I can exercise, I can do a 1 hour long Pilates class if I want to, I can go to my kids' school conferences. I don't have to think twice about how much I'm doing in a day. I can drive my kids to and from their activities. I can go to movies. I can go to the beach. I can travel. I can fly in an airplane, all the things that I wondered if I would ever get back to when I was really sick. So I can do everything physically. And I still have, those symptoms that I mentioned. I'm still working through those. I'm working on the brain fog, working on, maintaining that calm in my nervous system. Some of the things that still make my brain fog worse are sunshine. So being out in the sunshine, particularly if I'm stressed, and being on screens. So I still, make sure that I'm regulating my nervous system when I'm in those environments. I keep working at it, right? Keep using the tools that I learned. So physically, I can do everything that I want to be able to do. I still have, some of the symptoms present. And I use the vagus nerve stimulation as one of my tools to help in my emotional growth. And so that's, for me, through my recovery, I use the vagus nerve stimulation just to manage my nervous system state, right? To maintain that parasympathetic state as much as possible. At this point, my nervous system is regulated. I have normal responses to things. I don't, have that extreme stress reaction that I used to have, like when my kids would cry, or when I went out in the sunshine, or when I, just walked to my car. My nervous system doesn't have those spikes. I still take care of my nervous system. I still am aware when I'm starting to get stressed out, and I regulate. I still actively do those things. And I think that's part of what you learn through the experience of recovering from these types of conditions. You learn how to recognize when your nervous system is getting amped up, when you're getting pushed into that fight or flight state, and when you need to do something to come back down. In addition, at this point, I'm able to start thinking about how I view the world and shift my perspective on how I see things. And that's where, the true growth comes in terms of, can I change my emotional reactions to things? Can I change the way that I see my relationship with my kids, for example, so that my reactions are different, and I can change, I can come to my kids from a more resourceful place when I want to change their behaviors, etc. And so when I want to change how I view something so that I'm not as reactive, I will use the vagus nerve stimulation as a part of that process. It enhances neuroplasticity, like I said, brings you into that parasympathetic state, allows me to really look at a challenge without getting triggered into some of my old patterns, right? It's very difficult to change your responses to things if you're in a trigger, right? You're in your amygdala. You've got that, like they call it, an amygdala hijack, right? Like your brain is in that fight or flight survival place, and it's very difficult to then shift how you think about that, because your brain is hanging on to patterns that have kept you safe in the past, right? So now I use the vagus nerve stimulation as a tool to move me into parasympathetic, to help me to enhance that neuroplasticity so that I can change the brain pathways that I have in place on many things. And so I can say that I have grown in my own, emotional development, my own healing, leaps and bounds over the course of 2025. I mean, just in the last, I would say, like 8-9 months, my perspective on everything has changed. I would say I think differently about my role as a mother. I think differently about romantic relationships. I think differently about my career. My whole perspective on everything is different than what it was prior to becoming ill. And, I remember hearing this question a lot. People would ask in interviews, when I would watch recovery stories, it was a common question, to ask people, are you grateful for the experience? And I remember being really, really sick and thinking, am I ever going to think I'm grateful for this experience? And I would say, I am not grateful for the experience. The experience was awful. And I would never wish to go through that again. And I would never wish for anybody else to go through that. I am grateful for the things that I learned. And if there was any other way that I could have learned the things that I learned rather than being that ill, I would take it in a heartbeat. I am grateful for the progress that I have made, for the healing that I have experienced, for everything that I get to have in my life now that I didn't get to have when I was sick. And I am so grateful for the growth that I've had since I've become well, and for the understanding I have about how the brain works, how the nervous system works, and the power that I have over my own experience and my own health. And that is what I hope for all of you, anybody who is going through a chronic health condition, chronic fatigue syndrome, long COVID, or any other of the conditions that exist out there, any of the other ones that I've talked about on this channel. I hope that for you. And if you're dealing with something like this, know that you are not alone, and my heart absolutely goes out to you. I know what that's like. And know that there are resources and you can find your way out. there is a way out of this. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. Keep commenting, telling me what you need to hear, what you need to see, what's going to help you in your journey. I am here to help. This was absolutely when I was sick, I knew when I get to the other side of this, I am going to find ways to help people who are dealing with this. And so that's what I'm here for. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you again soon.